It feels like forever since I last seen Scotland play in the last international break, and that's probably because I've done everything in my power to erase my memory from the last time we seen Scotland in action. Welcome back, guys. Son of Scotland TV. I don't even want to discuss what happened last time. You all know it. Ukraine World Cup qualifying playoff game. You all know it. Ireland in the UEFA Nations League game. It was two fucking horrendous results. Now, we did pick up wins over Armenia, but, I mean, let's be real. Beating Armenia does nothing for me. Losing to Ireland 3-0 and losing a World Cup playoff to Ukraine does a lot for me, but in a negative way. So I've done the best I can to just totally forget about that. I do like Steve Clarke. I've always backed Steve Clarke. I've always said Steve Clarke has had a good career, especially what he done at Kelly. I will say, honestly, what Steve Clarke done at Kelly is probably some of the most impressive stuff I've ever seen in football in my generation, 100%. So I'm not on Steve Clarke. I'm not on the Steve Clarke out train. I don't want Steve Clarke to go. I want Steve Clarke to remain Scotland manager, hopefully, for a long time. Hopefully bring us success and hopefully take us to more major European competitions. But we need to be better than we were last time out. You know what? Everyone has bad games. Everyone has bad spells. We'll put it down to a bad spell last time out. Not making excuses either. We were missing key players. We were missing Kieran Tierney, and I think when we're missing Kieran Tierney, I think Kieran Tierney is arguably our most important player. The way he works in the left centre-back role, when we don't have him, I don't even see the point of us playing that 5-3-2, because without Tierney, it just doesn't work. It's not as effective. So that he was a massive miss. But regardless, we should have put up a better fight against Ukraine. We should never be losing 3-0 to Ireland. With that said, guys, let's talk about this next game. We have 2 games against Ukraine in this international playoff and 1 game against Ireland. So I'm hoping that we can still win this group. I think we can win this group. It's in our own hands. Let's put it that way. We've got Ukraine. Ukraine are on 7 points. We've got Ukraine twice. All we need to do is beat Ukraine twice and they can't touch us. So we could have, not that I want to, but I mean, we can pretty much afford, we can beat Ukraine twice and then probably afford to lose to Ireland and we'd probably still top this group. So, but that's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we get revenge here. I'm thinking we actually show up and show Ukraine that when they beat us, it was a one-off. That performance was a one-off, right? We just weren't good enough. We didn't turn up. There was a lot of people saying beforehand that Scotland should forfeit the game. Scotland should lay down and let Ukraine win. Even, I believe it was Graham Souness. Like, what an absolute tool. Now, I'm not saying the players did that, but maybe they were in two minds. Maybe they were a little bit conflicted. Maybe they didn't take the game as serious. Maybe they let their foot off the gas a little bit. I don't know. But we were really bad against Ukraine, and I think it's important that we're not that bad again this time around. Now, in terms of the squad selection, we all know Steve Clarke. He's pretty much got his same core of players. Yeah, every squad selection, like 1 or 2 might change, but we pretty much know who Steve Clarke's going to pick. And while I agree with some of his selections, there's some other selections that I just can't get behind. I mean, Stuart Armstrong, when I see him in a Scotland team, that just, I feel dead inside, I really do. Scott McTominay is always going to be picked because he plays for Man United, but the truth is, he fucking sucks. He's not a good player at all. I hate the fact that Steve Clarke is relentless playing him in centre-back. The guy is not a good midfielder. He sucks in midfield. It gets even worse when you take him out of midfield and play him out of position. So why does Steve Clarke continue time and time again to do that to us? I don't know why. Maybe Steve Clarke's a secret agent and he wants to destroy Scotland from within. Maybe that's what it is. But every time I see Scott McTominay at centre-back, man, it kills me. And what I don't get is, I'm not saying we're blessed with centre-backs. I'm not saying Scotland has 15, 20 world-class centre-backs to choose from. But we have 3 centre-backs better than Scott McTominay. We definitely do. And if you're playing Kieran Tierney at the left centre-back position, then you only need another 2. For me, I don't know how he can't do that. Between the likes of McKenna, John Souttar, even like someone like Jack Hendry who's played well lately. Grant Hanley's a bit of a bomb scare, but he's got experience and he's better than Scott McTominay. Even Ryan Porteous, I think, is better. Craig Halkett at Hearts, you know, never really gets a call-up. Got 1 call-up and all he did was sit on the bench his entire fucking international break. I don't get it. There's definitely better options than Scott McTominay, so I'm hoping I know it won't happen, but I'm hoping Steve Clarke decides to not play McTominay. It is what it is. In terms of what they said, I mean, do I really care about what Stuart Armstrong says? I don't want the guy in the team, so his opinion means absolutely nothing to me. Now, we know that John McLaughlin dropped out the squad like 2 days ago. He has been replaced by Rangers teammate Robbie McCrory alongside Stoke City forward Jacob Brown. Jacob Brown, not going to lie, I haven't seen the guy in action lately. I haven't seen the guy at all. I don't know, is he a good player? I don't watch Championship football. I haven't, I mean, I know he's played like a couple of minutes for Scotland. He's had a few substitution appearances, but I've never really noticed him do much. Is he any good? Not sure, not sure. Is he good enough to get over Dykes and Shea Adams? Definitely not sure. In terms of some match stats, Scotland have lost the last 2 of their 3 games against Ukraine. The big one here, Scotland have only lost 1 of the last 14 home games in all competitions, and unfortunately that was against Ukraine there in June. So again, that's a massive stat, you know, that we basically, apart from that defeat against Ukraine, we're 14 games unbeaten. So yeah, that just shows you how good Steve Clarke has got us playing at home, and we've made Hampden into somewhat of a fortress, you know, a place that we don't lose, apart from the time, obviously, we bottled it against Ukraine in the World Cup playoff. Ukraine have won 7 of the last 12 Nation League matches, losing 4, failing to score only 1 of those games, a 4-0 defeat to Spain. So yeah, we know that Ukraine are, I'm not saying Ukraine are bad, right? I know they're a good side, but we definitely made them look a lot better than they were. Since losing 4-0 to England in July 2021, which was the World Cup, Ukraine have lost just 1 of their 12 matches, with 5 wins and 6 draws. A 1-0 defeat to Wales. Okay. So there you go. I mean, they've only lost 1. That was against Wales. But even you look at that, and it is a bit misleading, because yeah, they've only lost 1 in the last 12, but at the same time, they've only won 5 in the last 12, which is less than half. So, I mean, they're a decent side, Ukraine, but they're a side that I definitely think aren't as good as Scotland. I certainly think Scotland all round are better than Ukraine, and it's probably not often you've said that in the history of football, but I definitely believe that to be true at the moment. They might have they might have had a couple of, even I look at the Ukraine team now, I just don't see the world-class players. I don't see the superstars. You know, yeah, back in the day they had Shevchenko, but I don't see a Shevchenko on this side. I look at the 2 sides, and I see the superstars, and I see them in the Scotland lineup, to be fair. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. The team news, there's no one major missing. John McLaughlin's missing, but, I mean, Craig Gordon would have been starting anyway. I still feel sick for Craig Gordon that he never got to play in the Euros, man. I think that was absolutely madness there. But we know that Souttar's out, we know Liam Cooper's out, and we know that Andy Robertson's out as well. So that is 3 big players from this the defence that we are missing. So, I mean, the back 5, if he chooses again to go with a back 5, it's going to be a completely new-looking back 5 lineup. It's going to be like there'll be the couple of players in there that we know, but, you know, it's going to be a makeshift back 5. So it'll be interesting to see how we cope defensively against Ukraine. But what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to pick my 11 that I would personally pick to start against Ukraine. Not the team I think Clarke will pick, but I'm going to pick the selection that I would personally pick, and then I am going to give my prediction on what I think the score line will be. So let's start with the goalkeeper. I mean, this is an easy one for me. Nothing against Liam Kelly or McCrory, but Craig Gordon is the best goalkeeper we have, and it's not even close, is it, when you think about it? It's really not. So yeah, Craig Gordon is going to be in the sticks. Moving on to right back now. I've noticed Stephen O'Donnell wasn't even put in the team, which is madness. Stephen O'Donnell, he was like the number 1 for a few years, and it now looks like his time is done. And I mean, can you blame Clarke? I mean, I like O'Donnell. I think he's reliable. I think he gets a lot of criticism, and I don't think it's deserved criticism at all. But, I mean, you've got Nathan Patterson, who got, you know, he's up and coming, got the big move to England. You've got Anthony Ralston, who's come probably into, like, maybe not this year, he's really featured, but last year he probably had the season of his career at Celtic. He had the season of his life. So, I mean, there is, you know, better, younger players coming up at that right-back position, and I've got a feeling that Stephen O'Donnell's time as a Scotland regular, you know, could be done. It could be over. With that said, I am going to pick Nathan Patterson. I would personally play Nathan Patterson at right back. Not only do I think he might be the best player overall that we have at right back, I just think that I mean, Ralston has not been getting the game time. If Ralston was, you know, regular starter or something for Celtic, then maybe, but No, for me, I think Patterson at the moment. Ralston's been sitting on the bench. I think Patterson has been getting game time lately at Everton anyway, so I don't think that's a big deal. And that was always the problem before, you know, when he was at Rangers, he's barely playing, and I get that he's not really playing. It's not like he's playing every single minute at Everton, but he is featuring more now. So I would probably go with I'll go with Nathan Patterson in there. Right, we're going to pick the right side at centre back now. For me, this is. Yeah, it's a difficult choice, not going to lie, it is a difficult choice. But there's not many people to pick, because it's either Ryan Porteous or Jack Hendry. I mean, it's one or the two. And even though Porteous is a Hibs player and I'm a Hearts fan and I'm not supposed to like Porteous, and you know what, as an individual, he is a bit of a cunt, I'm not going to lie. He's been in trouble with the police, he has, you know, been in court, he seems like a scumbag. On and off the pitch, he's had a lot of decisions. You know, he's had quite a few red cards in his career. He's always involved in controversial moments. Lately, just been accused of blatant cheating by Jim Goodwin at the weekend. The guy's no saint, but I actually think he's a good player. However, I would go with the tried and, I wouldn't say tried and trusted, but I'd go with the guy that's got a bit more experience in a Scotland shirt. I'd go with Jack Hendry at right centre-back. Centre-back position, easy choice. With half the centre-backs in the country injured, it's going to be Scott McKenna. Has to be Scott McKenna. Left centre-back, I'm going to pick Kieran Tierney. And then on the left wing-back, you know what? I mean, Greg Taylor, I agree with what a lot of Celtic fans say and a lot of Celtic pundits saying, and Scottish football pundits in general saying that Greg Taylor in the last 12 months has really upped this game. And that's 100% true, he has. But for me, I would just go with Aaron Hickey. I think Aaron Hickey, Greg Taylor at the moment, I think Greg Taylor's a solid player, probably playing some of the best stuff of his career at the moment. But for me, I think Aaron Hickey's got potential to challenge Tierney and Robertson. That's how good I think Aaron Hickey is. So for me, it has to be Hickey. That would be my back five then. Hickey, Tierney, McKenna, Hendry and Patterson. In the midfield, we'll look at the options that we have. Stuart Armstrong, get him to fuck. That's what I think is Stuart Armstrong. I would go with, I think my midfield three is, for me, it's two of them pretty much pick themselves. I always just put Gilmore in there straight away and John McGinn in there straight away. Now, the third one is a little bit more tricky. I know people like Callum McGregor, and while I think Callum McGregor is a good player, for me, he is a little bit overrated. But I mean, I look at the other options we have. There's Davy Turnbull, Kenny McLean. I don't think Kenny McLean should continuously get picked. You got Ryan Jack in there, Ryan Fraser, Ryan Christie, Stuart Armstrong. You know what? I will go with Callum McGregor. I'll stick Callum McGregor in there. McGregor, McGinn, Gilmore. And up front, need to pick two players. Need two options from the striking selection. And there's Shea Adams. I mean, I have seen this a few times play Christie off Dykes, and I think that seemed to work well. I think Shea Adams hasn't really been scoring a lot, although I mean he did score a brace for Southampton a few weeks ago. I would personally just go with Dykes and Adams. I know it's a bit boring, I know it's what Clark does all the time, but I do think overall they're the best two strikers that we have at the moment. I would like to see Shankland get back involved in the Scotland setup, but for me guys, that is the team. That is the 11 I would go with. Gordon, Patterson, Hendry, McKenna, Tierney, Hickey, McGregor, McGinn, Gilmore, and up front Dykes and Adams. And as for the scoreline, as for my prediction, I'm going to go with, I'm going to have faith, guys. I think we'll make up for that bad result last time out. I'm going to go Scotland 2, Ukraine 1. Scotland 2, Ukraine 1. That is my prediction, guys. That's the scoreline I'm going to go with. Let me know down below in the comments what you think. Leave a like, leave a subscription, and yeah, if you think Ukraine's going to win, then leave that comment somewhere else. Only kidding, man. Leave it if you want. I can take it. I'm a man. I'm not going to cry about it. You know, I'll get over it. I might cry if Scotland lose, but I'm not going to cry about some shitty comments saying Ukraine will win. That's it. Till next time. Based on Scotland TV. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.